doesn't look small, but honestly, I don't think there's deep into it. Just gonna put us in the ring and who's better.
I'm ready to fight. You know, I've been chasing these big fights for quite a while. I want to call myself undisputed, so you know, it is what it is. I'm ready when they are.
That's definitely a fight I want. Like I said, I'm not scared of nobody. This is Monstro's world. And if he wants to get that fight, we get that fight.
And I like the fight with Jai. I think the Jai Opetaia fight at cruiserweight is the fight for me. That's the fight that I want to see. Jai has been the man at that weight class for a very long time. Now you got a new player in the division with a hot name and whose stock and whose star power is only rising. That's the fight I believe that needs to be made at the cruiser.
Jaya has officially targeted David Benavidez for a major showdown as both fighters move closer toward a high-stakes battle for division supremacy. Opetaia also viewed a future clash with David Benavidez as the natural direction if both hold major titles, emphasizing that the strongest fighters in a division should face each other to determine the clear number one.
You know, especially him being in cruiserweight, you know, and to me it just makes sense. Like, if he's fighting for a world title in my division, why don't people want to see who the best is in the division? Like, it does not make sense to me if we don't fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's coming up fighting for a undisputed, like a unification fight, and he's going to be holding the WBO and WBA. It just doesn't make sense to me that we wouldn't fight.
On the other hand, David Benavidez has also shown willingness to step into a potential showdown with Jaya, fueling excitement around a high-level matchup between two fighters aiming to establish themselves at the top of the division.
And if he wants to get that fight, we get that fight. I don't know why he went to Zuffa. We could have made this fight right after this one. You know, but now I don't know if he got stripped by the IBF or what it is. You know, I'm not gonna go over there and fight for a Zuffa title, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that would be a great fight to make in the future. And I mean, I respect Jai Opetaia a lot. He's a great fighter, and I think he has to come back over here to make these.
In addition to that, Robert Garcia felt that David Benavidez still needs to clear significant hurdles before even thinking about stepping up to heavyweight. He highlighted that facing established elite opponents across different divisions would be an important part of shaping the next stage of Benavidez's career.
I would love him to do, maybe at that same weight, or maybe go down to fight Bivol and Better Biv, and the other one is what that other cruiserweight that's not with Supa.
Jai.
Opetaia.
Yeah.
I don't know if that fight could even be done now that he's with Supa and what belts they're gonna fight for, whatever. I don't know. But those are three fights that I would like to see Benavidez take. But then after that, he's ready for the heavyweights, man. He's ready to fight Usyk.
Meanwhile, Stephen Edwards regarded Jita as a serious world-class contender, highlighting his physical strength, athletic build, and natural skill set as major assets. He further noted that Opetaia's composure in high-pressure situations makes him a tough stylistic problem for any elite opponent.
He's fast and he's explosive. And David gonna have to be careful. That ball hits you with a left hand, he can knock you out. And he's a southpaw, so he'll have some built-in advantages. He's just it's not a skill thing. He's a different level athlete than what El Zurdo is. And he's young and he's mean and he's gonna be fighting hard. I think David might know a little bit too much for him. I think he might be a little bit too skillful for him and be a little bit too slick. But his raw athleticism and punching power is something David gonna have to be careful with.
In contrast, Sean Zittel views David Benavidez as a fighter entering his prime with the potential to become one of boxing's most dangerous contenders. He noted that although Benavidez still has to earn full validation against elite opposition, his skill set suggests he could challenge top champions like Dmitry Bivol, Artur Beterbiev, and Jai Opetaia.
It's a special talent who's now really entering his prime now, and he is scary for any fighter to go up against. You know, he's got to prove it. He's got to prove it against the best fighters in the world now, and they're going to be tougher outs than Gilberto Ramirez, but I'm feeling like he can beat all of them. He could beat Bivol, he could beat Beterbiev, he could beat Opetaia. Line them up, and I want to see it.
Agreeing with Sean, Zab Judah explained that David Benavidez brings an awkward, hard-to-read style driven by non-stop pressure, shifting tempo, and quick in-ring adjustments. He added that many opponents struggle to adapt to it early on, and once Benavidez settles into his rhythm, he becomes even more difficult to deal with.
It's a good fight. I like it. I still say the same thing now. Another stoppage.
Same way? Easier? Harder fight?
It's probably going to be done. I mean, listen, man. I predict the same thing. Because it's a new style. David Benavidez has his own style in boxing. He has his own, he's the first fighter we know with his style. Coming up with his style, he mastered it. So there is no real defense for the style yet. There is no real, how does the blockage go? How does it go? Like, I never see, they don't teach them shit like that, you know what I mean? So until somebody can come up with, until they can learn their style completely, you're not gonna know how to defend against it. You gotta see it some more, you know what I mean? So shout out to David Benavidez coming up with his own style. That's crazy. And the switch. Crazy. My guy, he's the first guy with it. What up? I'm saying it.
When
Don't make David cut that switch on. It's over.
However, Jose Benavidez Sr. recognized the ability of Jai Opetaia but suggested he is still building experience against top-tier opposition and may not yet be fully tested at the elite level. He also expressed confidence that his team would accept the fight without hesitation, viewing it as a tough but very winnable matchup.
You know what? I think he's a great fighter. I met him at a fight. I want to give a big shout out to Opetaia. I think he's a great fighter. He's doing well, and I think he still needs the experience, His last fight, I think he held back. He looked a little bit tired. He was struggling in there. He did win the fight to me, and he did win pretty much all the rounds. But, I just think that he needs a little bit more experience. We'll fight him tomorrow, not a problem.
Further going into the discussion, Ron Ellis felt that a fight involving David Benavidez would become significantly more difficult against a naturally sized opponent where physical pressure alone may not be enough. He added that such a matchup would force Benavidez to show more technical skill and adaptability, especially if he is unable to consistently overpower or walk through his opponent.
On some of your own side. We're gonna start with that. That's first of all. Y'all the same size, so now it's like I don't think you can stand there. Yeah, I don't think that's Russian roulette. When you see me on the ropes, I'm a swing, he just but when it's the same size, Benavidez gonna have to show his real boxing skills. Because I don't think you can just walk him down.
In addition, Kid Austin labeled a potential clash between Jaya and David Benavidez as a top-tier matchup that should take place before either fighter considers moving up to heavyweight. He added that Opetaia is a legitimate threat in the fight, stressing that the outcome would likely depend on who delivers the better performance on the night.
I think that would be a great fight. I think before he would go to heavyweight, I think that would be the fight that needs to be made. I think Jai has a good chance too of possibly winning. Like really? I said, yeah, I think it just comes down to who shows up that night.
Massive step up for Benavidez to fight Jai, you know what I mean? Obviously, I feel like he would give Jai a harder fight than Ramirez would, but man, it's a huge jump. He used to be a super middleweight, to light heavyweight, up to cruiserweight. It's not like you're jumping from like super welterweight to middleweight, you know what I mean? It's a huge, 15 kilos, 16 kilos. It's massive, and he's not the leanest or strongest. Yes, he's very fast. Benavidez is very fast, but I feel like whenever Jai hits him, he'll know.
Meanwhile, Ada Oladapo portrayed Jai Opetaia as a highly dangerous southpaw with sharp movement, quick feet, and explosive ability. He suggested that although Opetaia may not be as fast with his hands as David Benavidez, his superior footwork keeps the matchup competitive. Oladapo added that the fight would likely be closely contested rather than...
Opetaia's a killer as well. He's a killer. And unlike Zerdo, Opetaia has fast hands and fast feet. Opetaia's hand speed, it's not as fast as Benavidez, but it's respectable. His feet are better than Benavidez's. He's a southpaw. So don't start to, Benavidez runs through Opetaia. No. I'm not doing that. Not doing that. Does not run through him at all. That's a fight.
On the other hand, David Benavidez has shown interest in a potential clash with Dimitri Bivol, seeing it as a major opportunity to test himself against an elite champion. The matchup is widely discussed as a high-stakes fight between pressure and precision style.
Bivol is really he's the only fight I really want, like that I truly want, because he has all the belts. You know what I mean? After I beat Bivol, I'm gonna have, right now I have 8 titles. 3 of them were interim, 3 of them world championships at super middleweight, light heavyweight. Now I got 2 of them at cruiserweight. I really want those belts. I want those accolades. So that's the only thing I want right now.
Dimitri Bivol recognized the drive shown by David Benavidez, noting that elite fighters are expected to pursue championships and remain active against top competition. He added that this kind of ambition is what gives major fights real significance and keeps the sport moving at the highest level.
He has a belt, and I want his belt, and I want to defend my belt, and I want to...
Meanwhile, Benavidez praised Dimitri Bivol as one of the top fighters in the sport, pointing to his sharp technique, speed, and punching ability. He added that those strengths only increase his motivation, emphasizing that he has long pushed for this kind of challenge and feels fully prepared to step up.
Dimitri Bivol, he's a great fighter. He's probably one of the best fighters out there today, just because he's so technical. He has good speed, he has good power. But at the end of the day, that's only going to turn emotional on. You know what I mean? So I'm ready for this fight. Like I said, I've been calling for all these fights.
In addition to that, Dimitri Bivol spoke positively about David Benavidez, recognizing him as a talented and self-assured fighter with big ambitions. He added that Benavidez's drive to pursue major opponents reflects his desire to continue climbing to the highest level of boxing.
The fighter, he's a really great fighter, and what he's saying that he wants to fight me and better be, it means that he's a great fighter, he's confident, and he wanna achieve more and more. It's good, and what I could tell.
Benavidez further expressed openness to fighting across divisions, including light heavyweight and cruiserweight, if it leads to meaningful challenges. He stressed that his main goal is to prove his ability by facing the strongest possible opponents rather than staying in one weight class.
You guys know that 100% already. You know, wherever it is, it's 200, 175, wherever. I mean, I'm just here to test myself at the end of the day and test my...
Giving his analysis on this clash, Sergio Mora pointed out that both fighters have sparred before, so there are no surprises going into a potential fight between Dimitri Bivol and David Benavidez. He added that a win for Benavidez on a major stage could elevate him into superstardom and suggested his speed, pressure, and power may give him the edge over Bivol's movement-based style, making him the slight favorite.
They know what to expect. That's one. Two, imagine him fighting in September in the same venue in Las Vegas with all the Mexicans watching again and beating a guy that beat down your superstar, a guy that beat Bivol, I'm talking about. Bivol beat Canelo and you beating Bivol on that special date. That's how you take over the crown at 29 years old and become the next star for the next couple of years. Bivol's the way because he's not a big puncher. He's footwork, and you need to know how to close down that distance and footwork. Benavidez has that. Speed beats the timing of Bivol with that jab. Speed's going to intercept that. And then ultimately the power. The power's going to be on Benavidez's side. Bivol's never been a puncher. He's strong, but he's not a puncher. So everything's for Benavidez. I would see him being the major favorite here.
Agreeing with Sergio Mora, Chris Mannix stated that while Dimitri Bivol remains a top 5 pound-for-pound fighter, David Benavidez has also earned that recognition after his performance against Gilberto Ramirez. He added that based on current form, he would slightly favor Benavidez in a potential matchup between the two.
Bivol enough credit. Bivol is still a top 5 pound-for-pound guy. That said, based on that performance against Zurdo, I'd have to make the case that Benavidez is a top 5 pound-for-pound guy right now. And I would probably make Benavidez a slight favorite at the moment against Dimitri.
Moreover, Bruce Carrington described Dimitri Bivol as a disciplined, technically sound fighter who rarely strays from his structured game plan. He suggested that David Benavidez would need to break that rhythm with constant pressure and high output, a tactic he has successfully used against top-level opponents. Even so, he added that the fight is still hard to predict as both fighters have developed further since their previous sparring sessions.
Fight. I genuinely don't know because Bivol's so disciplined. From round 1 to 12, he's here back and forth with this. He is stubborn with that style, bro. So that it's all about him getting Bivol off of his game, which he has the capability of doing. He's broken down so many people. Yeah, I heard that too. You know, where it is he at? He's confidently talking about it in his interview, saying how he got him in sparring. But he also lets it known that it was good work though. At the same time, and this time that's been since that happened, and both fighters has grown since then. But man, Bivol, bro, it's gonna be tough. That's a fight that I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know how it'll go down.
I do think he beats Better BF at Better BF's age.
However, Stephen Edwards explained that David Benavidez's youth and relentless pressure could trouble Dimitri Bivol by forcing him into excessive movement. He added that Bivol's constant footwork-heavy style may become draining if Benavidez maintains a high sustained pace throughout the fight.
Like David's youth in that fight. With Bivol's a tremendous fighter. I got a tremendous amount of respect for him, but it seems like that the way he moves and he doesn't fight on the inside, Benavidez can kind of force him to over move and move more than what he would like to move and force him to kind of run out of gas. For as good as Bivol's conditioning is, he does take off rounds because he fights in the constant bounce all night. And I think that Beterbiev's pressure and Benavidez pressure is different. Beterbiev is more calculated. He actually have good footwork and defense, but it's more subtle and calculated, where Benavidez is a little more frenetic. And I think that he will force a harder pace on